The head coach of the Crimson Tide softball team, Patrick Murphy. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Gary. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And I tell you, you've learned something about this weather over the years. If you'd have played scheduled for last night, we'd have never gotten it in. But it looks like we're going to be okay tonight. So I know you watch the weather as closely as anybody. So thankfully, it's going to be a little chilly tonight, but we should have softball. That's good news because you never want the home opener delayed.
No, and I know the weather guys at WVUA are probably sick and tired of me throughout the years because they've been really good to me. But I think both softball and baseball get it in tonight.
Yeah, I think we will. Well, let's talk about your club. 11 games, all away from home. The UCF Classic and the Panther Invitational. The only way you could have been better is to go 11-0, but you did go 10-1. You found out a lot about your team. You had a couple of no-hitters in there. You had one single game mixed in with those two tournaments at UAB. That was a 3-pitcher no-hitter. You get a no-hitter from Alexis Osorio in the Panther Invitational. Maddie Moore has been everything that we thought she would be in the circle. So how do you feel about the start of the season?
Well, you were right about the game at Central Florida. It was just we didn't have starting pitching, we didn't play good defense, and we certainly didn't hit. So you go 0 for 3 in the three things that are basically key to winning a game for college softball. And we definitely didn't deserve to win that game by any means. But after that, Sydney improved her ERA from like a 4 down in Orlando to 0.00 in Atlanta through 2 shutouts and didn't give up a run, obviously, in 14 innings. So we had about 5 to 6 things that we said we did well, 5 to 6 things that we wanted to do better from weekend 1 to weekend 2. And I told him yesterday at practice, all the things that we asked them to do better, they did. On-base percentage, pitch selection, slugging percentage, fielding percentage, fewer walks by the pitchers.
I think we got you back. I don't know what in the heck happened, but you were talking about Sydney Littlejohn having improved her work in the circle and didn't give up anything over in the Panther Invitational.
No, she was much better, and actually she was the MVP for the tournament for our team. So Reagan Dykes had a really good weekend, freshman catcher from Mississippi, hit about .538 with 3 doubles, a home run, just hit the ball much, much better. The previous weekend, I think she was just nervous as can be, and actually went 0 for the weekend. And I had her in a 3-hole, I think all 5 games in Central Florida. So I was trying to show her that I had complete confidence in her. And then at UAB, we moved her down a little bit, and but I think she's going to be a great hitter. Peyton Grantham hit the ball really well. Leona continued to hit the ball well, and then Osorio, her first start of the year, and she throws a no-hitter, and she literally came within about half an inch of a perfect game because she just nicked somebody on the jersey on an inside pitch, and other than that, it would have been a perfect game. So we're pleased with kind of where we're at. We still need to hit the ball a little bit with some power, but I think that'll come once we see pitching. And I think at the beginning of the year, pitchers are always ahead of the hitter anyway, so we just need to get it going.
When we talked to you before the season, you were excited about the depth of this lineup, the versatility of this lineup, and we've already seen that. You've had different lineup combinations. You've plugged in different players, getting some experience for your newcomers. Seems like it was everything that you envisioned in terms of having a versatile lineup with a lot of different players, a lot of different ways that you can attack teams. And I know you'll kind of settle into a lineup as you get closer to conference play, but it's nice having this much versatility, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and I looked down a couple times in Atlanta and a couple times down in Orlando. I looked at my lineup card, and I was like, the only 2 people that haven't played are the 2 pitchers that aren't pitching. And so every position player or every hitter had an opportunity in those games. And I just feel like the more, even if it's a pinch hit opportunity where it's a 5-0 game, I want to see them in a live situation. And I think it's going to pay off for us down the road because they're not going to be as nervous when they get into a big situation. And every freshman has gotten a hit. Caroline Hardy had a nice double with the bases loaded over in Georgia. Got the monkey off her back. And so it's just fun to see them. It's fun to see the new kids do the first thing, the first hit or the first home run or the first RBI. And it's going to be exciting to watch.
Alabama head softball coach Patrick Murphy, our guest here on the Bud Light Hotline presented by Adams Beverages. The Crimson Tide will have its home opener tonight, 5 o'clock at Rhodes Stadium against Troy. We're about to get into breaking down the Trojans, which are a really solid ball club. But first, to get home to Rhodes in front of the best softball fans in the country. And I know you're thrilled. The new scoreboard is ready to go. And maybe, like I said, maybe a little cool and windy, but going to be a lot of fun tonight at the ballpark, and everything looks great over there.
Yeah, we had a little run-through last night with the scoreboard, and we got about 5 minutes into practice, and it started to rain, so we went in the indoors and hit for a while. But after we got done hitting, the marketing promotion staff came over, and Crimson Tide Productions did kind of a run-through with all the things, and, I mean, it is bright and big, and I think I told you this last week, but whoever plays left field, they're going to feel like Big Brother's looking over their shoulder because it is bright and it is big. And, you know, like baseball, it's so far away, but with us, it's right on top of you. And it's just going to add a lot of cool things to the ballpark, and I think the fans are going to really like it.
Should be awesome. All right, home opener against Troy. Always nice to play an in-state team. I talked with Coach Beth Mullins yesterday, and the softball in this state is unbelievable, and I want to get your take on how it's grown here in just a moment. But first, you've got an opponent, a good team, a coach that's very familiar with Alabama. Before being at Troy, he was an assistant at Mississippi State. Had a really good year last year, winning over 30 ball games and going 14-9 in the Sun Belt. So this is a team that's certainly capable. They've played a tough schedule already this year, have played Ole Miss, had a couple of extra inning losses, still have a good record overall, I think 7-3, but good game to play for your first home game, no doubt about it.
Oh, definitely. And I think the world of Beth. You know, she played at UAB. She started her career over there. And then she gone from Western Kentucky to Mississippi State, and I knew she'd be a really good head coach. And I was glad she got the opportunity at Troy. And, you know, one of her assistants is Taylor Smart, whose dad now is the head baseball coach.
That's right.
At Troy. And Taylor's worked several camps at Alabama. It's just a great young lady, so it's going to be fun to see them. But, you know, their number one pitcher is Ashley Rainey from County High. Alan Reach coached her in high school.
Right.
And she hits and pitches. And, you know, hopefully a lot of her friends and family will be able to come out and support her, and it should be a fun night. You know, I don't know if she'll pitch or not, but they've got 3 pitchers, and like you said, they're 7-3, and they've already played in SEC schools, so they're not going to be intimidated at all. And you know, we always tell our girls the in-state games; those are huge for both sides, and the best way to respect an opponent is to come out and be ready to play. And you know, if you just go through the motions. And you know, walk through it, that's when they're going to turn around and beat your butt. So we got to come out ready to play and have the 3 things that we need: as starting pitching, great defense, and timely hitting. Speaking of pitching, do you know what you have made? Have you made your plans for who you'll put in the circle tonight to start? Sydney's going to start. Okay. Let's look ahead to the weekend, because after being out on the road, you're coming home for a stint here, and this Easton Bama Bash, I mean, what a field. I mean, you've got Arizona, Marshall, and Tennessee rolling in here. You're going to play Arizona back-to-back on Friday night, and then again the first game on Saturday, then Marshall Saturday afternoon after the Arizona game, then you get Tennessee on Sunday. You've already been tested, but, I mean, this is a marquee field for the Easton Bama Bash beginning on Friday. Yeah, it's going to be fun. You know, Candrea is a Hall of Fame coach. Ralph Weekly from Tennessee is a Hall of Fame coach. Marshall is a school that not many people realize in softball, but they're very, very good. And they've got a kid that's on the USA team now. She's a center fielder, and she's hitting like 667 after 2 weekends. So she's going to be a special player to watch. It's one of those. She's from West Virginia, and you know, Marshall got her, and good for them. But she's a heck of an athlete. But Arizona, last weekend they beat LSU 3-0. Had a good weekend out of the tournament in Palm Springs. Tennessee, they played a bunch of really good teams. We have a common opponent, James Madison. We beat James Madison 2-1, but James Madison beat Tennessee last weekend 9-0, which was a really strange score to me. But they're very capable, and Tennessee probably didn't have a very good game. But the reason why we're playing them in this tournament, we don't play them in the SEC. Right. You know, 4 teams. That's for the fans that are wondering. This is a non-conference matchup, and 4 teams in the SEC softball schedule rotate off your schedule every year. and this is the year. We don't play Auburn, we don't play Tennessee, we don't play Arkansas, we don't play Ole Miss. So I'm really glad that Ralph and Karen decided to come down. It's a fairly inexpensive trip for them, and I think it's a win-win for all teams. Marshall has Arizona twice, Tennessee twice, and us. And I told her, last year when I sent the schedule, I said, her name is Shonda Stanton, and if you get to talk to her, she's a great lady. But I said, Shonda, your RPI is going to go through the roof, win or lose. And she said, oh, thank you for that. But she said it's the toughest weekend that Marshall softball will ever play. So, and, for us, we've got, like you said, we've got Arizona twice. We've got Marshall on Saturday, and then Tennessee ended on Sunday. And both Tennessee and us wanted to play 4 games. Marshall and Arizona wanted to play 5, and that's why they're playing each other twice. So it's going to be exciting. And Arizona's got a bunch of really good kids. Tennessee obviously has great athletes. And then the Marshall young lady in center field is the one to watch.
Should be a lot of fun. We've talked to you here about 13 minutes or so and haven't even mentioned Haley McClenny, and we've talked about the depth in your lineup and the versatility in the newcomers. I guess she's just the rock still. How has McClenny performed for you so far?
Well, you know what, Gary? She didn't even play last weekend. She got hit in the helmet in the head against UAB, her first at-bat, Tuesday night, last Tuesday, and about in the 3rd inning, she came into the dugout and told our trainer, Aaron Weaver, that she sees 2 balls at once.
Oh, Lord, that's not good.
No. So, concussion protocol is huge right now, and, Aaron followed it every day when we got down to, or we went over to Atlanta, and she didn't pass. And so she did Tuesday morning. We had weights. She did fine throughout the whole workout, and then Aaron and the doctor cleared her to practice yesterday, and then she's okay to play. So we went 5-0 in Atlanta without her in the lineup, which was really, really neat to see because Chandler there took over in center field and did a great job out there defensively and then kind of picked up the slack hitting. So it was fun to see. I mean, Haley was a great teammate in the dugout the whole weekend, and, she'll be back in the lineup for sure tonight.
So you were very thankful you had a lot of depth and versatility when a player of that caliber goes out and you still go 5-0 in a tournament. Well, that's awesome, and I know we're thrilled that she'll be back in the lineup tonight. The home fans want to see her. Tonight, as we mentioned, 5 o'clock, the first pitch. No live television, but I'll be on the call for the SEC Network Plus and ESPN3, the digital network. And you know who will be in the booth with me, and I know she never had a problem talking. Danae Hayes makes her broadcasting debut tonight, and she should do great. I know she's looking forward to it.
No, between the two of you, it's going to be a great team, and I'm looking forward to listening to you guys.
All right, one final
afterwards.
thing. Because I mentioned I wanted to ask you about this, and I know we've talked about how your program's grown, and we need to mention, too, this is season 20, so this is a big year for Alabama softball. But even 10, 12 years ago, after you'd established your program, Murph, did you have any idea then that, I know initially you had to do most of your recruiting out of state, and you'd get a girl every now and then, but now to have softball with the travel teams, with the high school softball in this state, with your program, Auburn's program, South Alabama, UAB, Troy, Jacksonville State, it goes on and on. Did you ever envision that the game would be so big in the state, not only at the college level, but all the way down to the little girls and then travel ball and everything else? It's just exploded. Did you ever have any idea it would be this big?
No, and I last summer I was at a tournament over in Birmingham at a two-field complex, and I sit down at the picnic table behind field number 1, and about 10 minutes later somebody sits down beside me, and I'm drinking my Diet Coke like usual, and I turned to say hi, and it was the assistant coach for UCLA. And I said to myself, what the heck is she doing here? And that's where it's gone, Gary.
She was recruiting.
UCLA is coming to Alabama.
Holy cow.
It's just amazing. Haley was recruited by UCLA. Danae was recruited. Most of the SEC wanted both of them. But for us to have a kid from Morris, Alabama, both Danae and Haley were from there, 45 minutes away from Tuscaloosa, and Haley, to me, is the best outfielder in the country. So good athletes are everywhere. You just have to find them. And, thank God that both of them wanted to play for Alabama because, they're two of the best we've ever had. And I love Grits, girls raised in the South. And kids that are raised in the South know the rivalries of the SEC. And that's kind of like my feeling towards why I want kids from this area. And we always want the best kids from the state of Alabama at Alabama, because they know the rivalries. They know what it's like to play Auburn. They know what it's like to play LSU, Tennessee, Georgia. They know that feeling, and they bring it to everybody else on the team. And I know Haley does that, and they used to do that. And any kid that we've had from Alabama, if we have an out-of-state kid that doesn't know the rivalry, they know it pretty darn quick after talking to one of the girls from in-state. But one other thing I wanted to say, Gary, with Saturday is Andrea Hawkins Day. And she's a 4-year player for us from Houston, Texas, and she's had some, rough going here. In the fall, her dad passed away, and Andy was a great, great guy, and about 14 of her teammates and all the coaches went down to Houston for the funeral, and I know that she's got a ton of family coming from that area down in Bay City, Texas, and it would just mean a lot to everybody on our program if we could have a full house for her on Saturday, because I know it's going to be, it's going to be a fun day for her, but it's also going to be a rough day. So the more people out there for her, the better off it's going to be.
Yeah, you fans listening, make note of that. Really support Andrea Hawkins this Saturday for Andrea Hawkins Day. And to illustrate what you're talking about with the in-state growth of softball, 7 players, Murph, on your roster this year from the state of Alabama. That is absolutely phenomenal.
Yep, you're right. And it's I think that's the most we've ever had.
All right, 5 o'clock tonight against Troy, the home opener. It should be a lot of fun. And then, of course, the Easton Bama Bash beginning on Friday and all through the weekend. Saturday's Andrea Hawkins Day. Support her. Support Alabama softball. Thank you, Murph.
Hey, see you tonight, Gary.
See you tonight.